Thank you, Ken, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to have my first speech. So, for this first speech, let me be completely shy and humble and brag about myself. But realistically, what can I say? I was always fascinated about something new, about developing in creativity, and this is how I started in IT business. I was curious how, not what I can do with computers, but uh, how do they work. Eventually, I started as an engineer, systems administrator, then moved on to being pretty much having my own business and being a consultant all this time. And eventually, I realized that all this IT and science, it's nice, but first and foremost, you need to work with people. I knew that I lacked some the skills, people skills, and I needed to develop those. And what best way to develop those while getting paid? Well, this is how I ended up taking a side job at Knott's Berry Farm. So here at Knott's, I actually am one of the trainers, and if you're getting hired, you're going to be sitting in a room with about 50 people, and I might be one of your trainers. I'm going to be giving you a presentation and walking you through the farm and explaining pretty much all the details about it. But enough about the resume. You know how it goes. You're gonna get a resume. You're gonna read people's experience, this and that. Let me talk about what's behind the resume. Um, Let me talk about the person with the desires and motivations. What actually powers me? What empowers me? What drives me? Pretty much, let me talk about the core drives. So, I always was fascinated by creativity, by creating something new from scratch. Even if it even if I knew that trying something out wouldn't be that perfect, I would still be very curious and I would still want to do it. Every time, every time, even when I knew that it wouldn't be perfect to create something from scratch, I would still try. Then again, I do love freedom. Pretty much liberty, mobility, and minimalism. And those are the qualities I incorporate in every part of my life. Even if it's in IT, I would still not be tied to one single place. I would take different contracts in different places. Here in the States, I flew all over. I only haven't been in like Alaska. I've pretty much been everywhere from west to east coast. And I worked in plenty of places in Europe as well. Mobility, I also love the fact that it ties very well with liberty. You can move between different places and you're not tied to one single one. And same goes for minimalism. If you're minimal and you practice one bag, and you can just live out of your one single bag, out of carry-on, you can fly anywhere. You don't have to check in luggage and you can be mobile. And it's all about liberty. Realistically, those are the key things that define my life, that define my decisions in it. And I'm not really sure what else to mention, but why don't I give a chance to you, and why don't you go ahead and just ask me questions? So, what questions do you guys have for me? Yes.
How many languages do you speak?
Um, I was born with Russian. Now I'm mostly used to speak English, but for the most part, I speak sarcasm.
Oh.
I did practice. I tried to also speak German, Czech, and Polish when I was staying in those countries, but realistically, nowadays I can't remember any words in them. So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How long have you been here in the United States?
November 2013 was the day when I arrived, actually.
This year?
2013.
Oh, so
Yeah. I've been here pretty much for close to 6 years. Actually, maybe more. But yeah. And I only been to Russia maybe for like 3 months during this whole time, and to Mexico for about 3 weeks. All of this time I was here in States. What other questions do you guys have?
How
Oh,
about family?
family? Oh, they visit me every few years. They still live back in Russia, in Kaliningrad. That's where I'm from, and that's actually a pretty interesting place. Before World War II, it was part of Germany, and now it's separated from mainland Russia, and it's a little piece of land between Poland and Lithuania. Yes,
Have you ever been to Yakutsk or Mayakonskoye?
I have not actually, but those are definitely the places I will check. All right, well, I guess we're good on time, so thank you. Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you for the opportunity.